Before we start today's show, I want to say thank you to all of our community members out there on behalf of myself personally and the entire staff here at the Watchdog News. I thank you, and America thanks you. We are proud to announce that earlier today, the 10 billionth negative comment was posted to a police department's Facebook page, and it would seem as if the police union has capitulated with citizen demands for accountability and announced a sweeping nationwide crackdown on crime in our major cities. Of course, we'll have more on that in a moment, but first, a brief message from today's sponsor, Tint, the only automotive window tint declared safe for citizen use by the National Association of Motivated and Brave Law Agents, NAMBLA. Tint's ultra-clear automotive window film has been scientifically designed by scientists to keep you and your family safe. So remember, the next time you're shopping for automotive window tint, the only safe choice is ultra-clear. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming, where police are about to announce the results of their sweeping nationwide crackdown on crime. Roll the intro.
Illegal tints on the windows.
Dark tinted windows.
A dark tinted window.
Last Friday, they stopped dozens of drivers for window tint violations.
Window tint violations.
The window tint violations.
Oh my God.
Becky, look at her butt.
The numbers now show almost twice as many.
Okay, I went to public school. This is going to take me a second. Hey, does anybody know how many's in a dozen?
371 traffic stops, 59 drug seizures, mostly marijuana, and 95 stops for window tint.
Okay, well all that tells me is that window tint is more popular than drugs. And drugs are pretty popular.
But they're noticing a trend with drivers pushing the limit, making the windows darker.
Pushing the limit? Listen, buddy, I don't know if you noticed, but it's harder than two ferrets floridicating in a wool sock out here. And when I did my time in the field for God and country, I would have sacrificed a baby goat on the hood of my fucking truck for a little bit of window tint.
If your windows are tinted, the front windshield's tinted, and they're walking and are wearing dark clothing, it makes them that much harder to see.
Okay, I guess that makes sense if you're driving at night or whatever, but I do all my driving during the day. I'm a tradesman by trade, and my livelihood absolutely depends on a whole boatload of money invested in tools. And I don't want to go around giving free sneaky peeks to Tweaky McPufferson over there. Wait a minute. Is this your guys' big plan to crack down on crime? What a disappointment. And here I was thinking you were about to tell us you found the box of missing tapes the FBI lost during the Epstein case. I hope you at least went through the employee parking lot before you descended on the citizens to fleece their pockets on payday, essentially terrorizing a vibrant, up-and-coming downtown neighborhood. Let's go ask a local neighborhood resident what they think.
We're not trying to look to have citizens of the city going about their daily lives being over-enforced here.
Yeah, well, it's a little late for that, isn't it, lady? Somebody said they could, and now they are.
I think there's more important things that they could be taking care of right now than that, honestly.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so. Maybe Sports McFanderson over here is onto something. Let's do a little more investigation and see if we can come to the bottom of this.
And Floridians know window tinting is big help in keeping your car a little cooler in the summer months. But if the tinting is too dark, it's not only illegal, it becomes a serious safety risk for law enforcement.
What are you talking about? I thought this was so that Grandma doesn't run over Tyrone, the friendly neighborhood crackhead, while he's doing snow angels in the middle of the street at 2 o'clock in the morning when she's on the way home from the bar.
ABC 7's Erica Jackson has more on what this legal, or when it's legal.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live!
Excuse me, Erica Jackson has more on when it's legal to have window tinting.
A traffic stop is routine for Florida Highway Patrol troopers, but it can become a safety concern if it's unclear what's behind a dark tinted window.
City Councilman Mike Driscoll of Northeast Philadelphia co-sponsored this bill, which was just signed into law by Mayor Sherrell Parker, with the hopes of protecting law enforcement.
If they get in front of a car that has completely blacked out windows, their anxiety level goes through the roof because they don't know if the person in that car is trying to get their license or they're pointing a gun at their head.
Of course it was about officer safety the whole time.
Oh my God! The whole time!
Why are you acting so surprised? Are you new here? Oh, well if you are, make sure you subscribe down below. Now my opposition would say that law enforcement wants window tint for safety, security, comfort, and protection of delicate electronics. And so do I. And if one of those or other reasons sound appealing to you, then you should have the option as well. And my opposition might also say that law enforcement has specific training to help them better prepare themselves for situations where they're aggressively or defensively driving that the average citizens just don't get. And to that point, I would say that training isn't necessarily a requirement of proficiency. I mean, I was pretty good at doing what I do before I started doing what I do. That's how I knew I was going to be good at it when I did it. Additionally, we already have laws on the books requiring drivers to operate their vehicle in a safe manner. And if they have an accident and the window tint was the cause, then the window tint was the cause. That doesn't mean that nobody should have window tint because somebody wasn't responsible with it.
If you do have those extremely dark windows and you have them for a legal reason, when you do get stopped, please roll the windows down. Let the officer know that you are no threat to him.
You know, it takes a real special kind of to pull up behind you in one of these bad boys and write you a ticket for window tint. And now I have a question for the fry surgeon with a microphone. The whole time you were setting up for the interview, did you not notice that you were next to a frickin' highway? I watch an awful lot of police interactions, and there seems to be a growing trend with the people who are pulled over expressing some kind of fear or animosity towards the police officers at the window. The truth is, only about 1% of the American population can anticipate being pulled over by a police officer in any given year, and of those, most of the interactions are completely uneventful, as they say, a routine traffic stop. That 1% is actually misleading, because that 1% represents 20 million traffic stops. And when you've got 20 of them, your chance of being that 1 in a million certainly does go up, doesn't it?
I am that one nigga in 10,000.
Whoa, 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 slow down there, Django. There's no need for all that. Let's just respectfully, calmly, peacefully petition our local representatives and kindly request that they lax the laws on window tint so that we can each individually weigh the pros and the cons and make an educated decision for ourselves.
A Rhode Island lawmaker has introduced a bill that would let legislators and law enforcement get all of their vehicles' windows tinted, something that's not currently allowed for the general public.
But just for legislators and law enforcement officials, saying they should have the choice to shield themselves from angry constituents. Representative Anastasia Williams says because of the tense political climate we are in, legislators, judges, firefighters, and law enforcement should be exempt from that law. She says their safety and their personal life needs to be taken into account.
It calls for it to be tinted enough that where you look, you can see someone, but you can't necessarily make out who that someone is.
Williams used examples of disgruntled constituents who have approached her and others after tense debates at the State House. She says it's not about special treatment, it's more about safety.
It's about realistically looking at the type of work that we do and looking at society and how they have changed.
Okay, whatever, lady. Look, I'm not going to give you a hard time about your culturally appropriated hairstyle. That thing's like bright colors on a tree frog warning everybody around of danger. In fact, on behalf of all white people, I give you a pass. What I do want to know, however, is what exactly did you mean by they? Are you somehow separated from society?
And looking at society and how they have changed.
Are they saying we're all criminals and we're going to go after the, I don't understand why they would be allowed to have it and, regular citizens would not.
Oh my god, well obviously it's because they make the rules and they don't represent us. Maybe what we need to do is divide all the states into separate districts and then elect a representative from that district to go and lobby for the people. That's actually a pretty good idea. Somebody should write that down. I really don't care which one of Noah's sons you think your daddy is. If you looked at this situation objectively, it's pretty clear to see what's going on here. The average American can clearly see that these stops are pretextual in nature. But the law enforcement around you will never ever admit to it because pretextual stops are illegal. A pretextual traffic stop occurs when a law enforcement officer thinks you might be doing something but has no probable cause to support it. Like, you fit a general description of somebody who might be transporting some sort of narcotics. Or you look like a gang member. And then they initiate a traffic stop specifically to search for evidence to support their suspicion. And now to rule that out as a possibility, let's ask the sheriff. So, are these traffic stops pretextual in nature?
Not pretextual. That was a traffic stop for a violation of the law.
Okay, well, I knew that, but now that you said it, I'm going to have to double check it. Hey, old guy who allegedly knows more than me, is that true?
As long as there is a traffic violation, The only thing the Constitution cares about is that.
Benza says window tint believed to be too dark gives officers grounds to stop a car, but not to search it.
Did you catch what the news lady said there? I'll play it back in case you missed it.
Window tint believed to be too dark.
Believed to be. That's right. It doesn't have to actually be too dark. As long as a police officer believes that it's too dark, they still have qualified immunity if it's not. And then, once they have you stopped, they can use any one of the many methods and tactics in which we've discussed on this show in the last 6 years to escalate the traffic stop in any direction in which they so choose. And to all that, my opponents would likely say, if you don't have anything to hide, what are you so worried about? And to that I would say, I don't, and I'm not. I'm just worried that we have law enforcement officers and elected officials going way out of their way to make special rules just for them. This little fun fact of history might startle all the they-thems of my audience, but a couple hundred years ago, a group of farmers wearing wigs, makeup, and high heels got so pissed off at one another that they stood in a field and shot at each other. And when they were done, they sawed off their shattered arms with a handsaw and then whittled themselves a new leg with a pocket knife. The only pain medicine they had available was whiskey and a leather belt. And then, before the stench of war had even cleared the battlefield, these men sat down and made certain promises to their people that the government they were creating would not become oppressive and tyrannical as the one which came before it. And now here you are trying to sidestep the rules that your predecessors put into place so that you can be oppressive. And the tyrannical part's just sure to follow. Thank you for joining me on the Watchdog News, where we do whatever that just was. Here's 2 more videos YouTube thinks you'll like. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, and share with everyone you know.